folks, here we again for the weekly forecast. During this last week, we did see thunderstorm activity almost every single day of the week during this last 7 days, with the major precipitation events between the Sunday night through the Tuesday morning time frame, and then again we see the redevelopment as we got into Thursday, and that carried on in through yesterday. Some very extensive rainfall across portions of southeastern Nebraska, southern panhandle. Again, then on Thursday, we've seen that redevelopment across north central Nebraska, and that all filled in across northeast and eastern Nebraska. So a lot of areas received a couple inches of moisture, but then some areas did miss out on the beneficial rainfall. As we go forward to this next week, it does look like we're going to see very active pattern as we are stuck between this trough to the north and then of course the ridge to the south. So all of the storms are favored across the central plains as they follow the monsoonal flow and they move in an east-southeasterly fashion in this northwesterly flow. It's going to make it very difficult for exact timing of precipitation events, but essentially the models are indicating daily thunderstorms. So for today, we're expecting thunderstorms to develop across the panhandle. Some of these may try to slide eastward, but they're going to fall apart as they get into eastern Nebraska, so we're only looking like isolated chances. And as we get into tomorrow, we're going to see another round of thunderstorms, and this one, because this trough is trying to sag a little bit toward the south, looks like it's going to pull some of that thunderstorm activity all the way into eastern Nebraska during the overnight hours into Monday morning. Now, as we get into Monday, we will see that several pieces of energy are going to rotate around the southern periphery of this trough, giving once again decent shots of moisture across northern Kansas and southern Nebraska, less so as we get into northeastern Nebraska. Time we get to Tuesday, a couple pieces of energy again are going to follow the edge of this periphery of this ridge, and that targets southern Nebraska and northern Kansas with some isolated thunderstorm activity possible across portions of northern Nebraska and the panhandle. By the time we get to Wednesday, now this trough tries to push back a little bit farther and bring some cool air into the northeastern part of the state, but that's going to push that moisture up against the front range of the Rocky Mountains, and we should see some decent convection break out across the panhandle, moving toward southeastern Nebraska during the overnight hours. And then as we get into Thursday, some of that moisture will lift up toward the northeast, and we may see some isolated thunderstorm activity across the panhandle. Now, as we get into Friday, very cold air starts to push in toward the northern plains and eastern Nebraska. We could be looking at highs that are at least 20 degrees below normal on Friday. Early signs of fall, unfortunately. So let's take a look at the numbers. Right now, the models are projecting it will stay in the 80s across much of eastern Nebraska, pushing down into the upper 70s to upper 70s, then upper 60s across northeast Nebraska. We're showing 90s across southwestern Nebraska. That may be a little bit overdone by 4 or 5 degrees depending on the cloud cover, but you'll see the daily chances of thunderstorm activity. Now, as we go forward from next Thursday to the following Tuesday, that cold air still remains in place. And here's a new one we haven't shown very often this summer, a broad area of above normal precipitation, so it does look like the moisture will continue into the foreseeable future.